one who was waiting for January 20th for 80 years to come. I'm pleased that there's a new philosophy in government, and maybe the results are to be seen. But I must say that I was very pleased to hear you talk about the possibility of tax increases, because I think the big problem that we have with the $2 trillion deficit that's looming, that is approaching, I think a lot of it is needed investment. There are a lot of things wrong with this country that need to be fixed in order for the future, for our children, for our grandchildren. No one likes paying taxes, and but I think we need a progressive tax system. We need congressmen who have the courage to talk about how they're going to pay for tax. And we talked about some of this is a comment. A lot of this is commentary, but I have a short question afterwards. You talked about earmarks that support this. I think what gets everyone upset is sort of wasteful spending. I think we can argue about whether or not we need the investments in this country to make it a better, stronger country in the long term. No one likes paying taxes, but I think taxes are necessary, and we need a progressive tax system where the wealthy who can afford it pay more. What I'm concerned about as a Democrat, I fall in an upper tax income where I would pay more in taxes than I am currently paying under progressive system. My question concerns what can be done to reform sort of the abuses that go on in Congress right now with earmarks, with Nancy Pelosi, for example, not willing to investigate John Murtha, which is something the Republicans refuse to do with all of their wasteful spending. But what can we do to get Congress to focus on that? And I appreciate your being here. Term limits.
Thank you.
Yeah, term limits.
Thank you.
You want to come up and use the mic?
Well,
I'm sorry, can you just come on and please identify yourself so we know?
Hi, I'm Richard, and I live in Southport. I've been in the energy business for 30 years, and I think both sides have absolutely no concept of what to do about energy. We get 30-second sound bites from both sides. Greens on the left wanting to do things, the Republicans on the right absolutely wanting to drill. Okay? I spoke to Chris Shays one time about this. I want to know why no one in Washington has the political will and probably need to hoot it down about raising the gasoline tax in this country. Earlier about the fact that all our money is done overseas. If you raise the gasoline tax, we're paying $4 about a year and a half ago. We're paying $2.50 right now. At 50 cents a gallon now, 25 cents a gallon over the next 4 years, go over $1.50. People know it's coming. They can start to plan for it. It raises revenue for the government. It increases conservation. It takes money out of the hands of the Saudis overseas, because obviously conservation, we need less of their oil. The auto companies, which can get a part of it, because obviously the tax on right now, the gas tax goes to the transportation fund to build roads. Fine. Apportion some of that money to auto companies to try and reduce the cars that you're talking about. Being in the oil business doesn't mean anti-conservation or anything like that. But in order to do something right, okay, somebody has to have political will in Washington. The CAFE standards are stupid. Because as long as you're going to have $2 gasoline, nobody's going to want a car that goes 39 miles a gallon and they're going to continue to drive their Tahoes. And I can talk for a while about this. For anybody who doesn't know and has any questions, the ethanol program in this country is a complete joke. Ethanol is energy neutral and corn ethanol produced in the United States is 2/3 the cake of gasoline.
And approved by Congress.
That's right.
Okay.
And for those of you who don't know, check the business report this past week. Okay. It'll tell you how it ruins your fuel pump and your fuel hoses. The ethanol does. That's number one. Not only that, like I said, 2/3 cake of gasoline. We spend 50 cents a gallon subsidizing it. Yet we put a tariff of 50 cents a gallon on Brazilian sugar-based ethanol that has 90% of the cake of gasoline.
Thank you, yeah, that ethanol point is dead right. It is a disaster. It was approved by Congress, and it's reflective of the fact that our agricultural states have one heck of a lot of sway in the institution. I'm just curious though, we've got a very engaged crowd here. No noise, but I'd love to see a show of hands of who would support and who would oppose a gas tax. So if I, as your congressman, said, I am going to propose legislation that will increase the federal gas tax by 50 cents, how many of you would applaud that initiative?
Where would it be going?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. A very good question. I mean, part two of that is support a 50% gas tax hike in order to, well, we have to do a couple of things. One, we want to invest in alternative energy. And two, if we're going to raise the gas tax, we're going to think about the fact that that would hurt a lot of low-income families very badly, for whom paying for gas is actually a big deal, or paying for electricity is a big deal. So without having spent a lot of time, that's where the money would go. So hands of those people who would support a 50-cent gas tax, increase in the gas tax.
What's the trade-off?
Okay, and those who would oppose a 50% increase in the gas tax. All right, that's interesting. That's probably about 50-50.
Drill here, drill now.
50-50 plus one, drill here, drill now. Your question deserves an answer, which is that 50-50 is actually a little surprising to me. I would have thought the opposition to